Living in Orlando, Florida can be amazing if you know what you're looking for. And in this video, I'm going over 5 reasons why I love living here. Hey everyone, my name is Joel and I'm going to be going over everything from geographic location, the rising culinary scene, and even education. There's a lot to cover, so let's not waste any time and get right into it. So one of the top reasons why I love living here is Orlando's prime geographic location. Now the nice thing about this central location is the fact that you can really enjoy a variety of opportunities for trips or even weekend getaways. For example, if you're looking for a city experience, you can easily head over to Tampa. It's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of a drive away. Tampa does offer a range of attractions. It has even its own theme parks. They're not as good as ours, but I mean, it does offer you something different if you do need a change. Now, I personally enjoy going to the Hard Rocks Buffet, getting some food there, and also their brunch is pretty amazing. Now, on the other hand, Tampa is not the only city that is near Orlando. If you're looking for something that's basically the opposite of Tampa, there's also some amazing historic destinations. For example, St. Augustine is only about a 2-hour drive away where you can explore the city's rich history, its architecture, its beautiful beaches. It's also known as America's oldest continuously inhabited city. My family and I, we really do love heading back there at least once a year before the kids go back to school. Now, most of the times that we've gone, we've actually kind of just winged it. We'll go check out some historical areas and not really do a whole lot of planning. Last year, we actually did guided tours, and that for me was a game changer. It really opened up the city for me, really allowed me to explore things I never thought to visit. So far, I mean, it's a pretty great kind of staycation, something that you can check out with your family. Again, it's not too far of a drive. The only thing I haven't done over there is check out the beaches. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that because of Orlando's central location, there's a variety of access to different beaches, both on the Atlantic side and on the Gulf Coast. And my family and I, our preference really is the Gulf Coast beaches. Some of the favorite beaches that we like to go to are Clearwater Beach or St. Pete Beach. They're not too far of a drive. We're looking at maybe 2.5 hours. It's a little bit more of a drive to get to those beaches. They're not the closest beaches. You can drive to the Atlantic coast, maybe an hour, hour and a half away. But me personally, like I said, I just prefer the Gulf beaches. Now, one of the reasons for that, and this is completely my opinion, it's completely subjective, is because I just do think that the sand is a lot wider, the water's a lot clearer, there's fewer rocks and shells on the beach. I'm sure someone will tell me that there's all kinds of terrible beaches on the Gulf side, but again, that's just kind of what I like to do with my family, and it's just nice to have the options. If you don't like the Gulf beaches, you can always head to the Atlantic side, which are closer anyway. And again, that has everything to do with this awesome location that Orlando's in. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking that, hey, you know, if you love the beach so much, why not just live in Tampa or maybe some other city where the beaches are just a couple minutes away? Well, that kind of hits on the next reason why I love Orlando that has to do with the location. And it's the fact that because it's not on the coastal, it's not near the coast, I mean, we're a lot safer and a lot more insulated from hurricanes compared to the coastal cities. Now, keep in mind that you should still, even if you're living in Orlando or moving to Orlando, still prepare for hurricanes. They can still be very dangerous. They shouldn't be taken lightly. But the fact that we have this great distance from the coast really does make it so that whenever a hurricane comes, especially the last few that have come by, they just lose a lot of their strength, lose a lot of their power, which I think, in my opinion, is a reason why relocating to Orlando might be a better option than the coast. Now, with that in mind, if you're planning on relocating here, I'm sure you have a ton of questions about Orlando, like maybe where to find the best schools, where to find the best neighborhoods. Well, to keep things simple, I do have a relocation guide. You just need to go down in the description area, click on the link, and download. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about entertainment, things that you can do to have fun. Now, of course, Orlando is the entertainment capital of the world with the theme parks, but we're not going to talk about the theme parks right now. I'm instead going to talk about the smaller things that you can do here in Orlando that are still really fun, because there really is quite a variety. Now, one of the things that you can be excited about is the fact that Orlando is actually a sports town, at least to a certain level. For example, we have a professional basketball team here with the Orlando Magic. We also have 2 professional soccer teams with the Orlando City Soccer Club and the Orlando Pride. Now, at least me personally, I've never had a chance to go to any of the professional soccer games. I definitely would love to go. If I didn't have an infant, I'd probably be there every time they have a home game. However, most people that post about it, I mean, the stadium is just electric and on fire when it comes to these games. So it's obviously an event to go do and an event to go see. Now, me personally, I've been a huge NBA fan for the longest time, and I've also been an Orlando Magic fan as long as I've lived here. And one of the awesome things that happened back when I moved here is that Orlando was on top. I mean, they were doing great, and in fact, 2009, they went all the way to the finals. And the city, again, the energy, you could feel it. It was so exciting and so fun to just kind of feel that energy around the town. It was almost like we all had this one thing that could connect us. Now, lately, the team hasn't done too great, but the nice thing about that is that, I mean, the cost to go to see the games is a lot less. So if you do have another team that you like watching, guess what? You can go. Even if you don't like basketball, it's still pretty fun. Still a pretty fun activity to go do with your family. I mean, they really do a great job of entertaining, and every time we go, again, there's a lot of energy in the stadium, regardless of what their rankings are. You can really feel the fact that, you know, there is a lot of fun to be had there. Now, of course, if crowds aren't your thing and sports is not in your arena, then guess what? We do have a bunch of outdoor activities here in Orlando. For example, one of the things that I've loved to do in the past is go to Wekiva Springs. Pro local tip, make sure you're there early. I'm talking about like 6 a.m. early. I don't know necessarily that you have to be there that early, but I know that the later you go, there's a big risk that the park can get full and they can close it off. Now, once you're inside, I mean, they have this beautiful spring, this water that you can swim in, and it is crystal clear. It is crystal clear. You could see right to the bottom. It's very refreshing, which guess what? On those hot summer days, it could be a nice relief. Outside of that, you can also go on these great hikes on their nature trails and get to see a whole variety of things with your kids. I mean, expose them to nature. So, I mean, again, if you are just kind of an outdoorsy person, that's just one of the things that you can do here in Orlando that's not too far. Of course, as I said before, Orlando is a major tourist destination. So, I mean, we can take advantage of other smaller attractions that we have here. For example, you can go to Icon Park, where they have the wheel at Icon Park. Others around here refer to it as the Orlando Eye. You can see it from an airplane when you're coming here. Definitely looks beautiful when you're coming in at nighttime. Aside from that, we also have Sea Life Park, which is an aquarium here in Orlando that sometimes gets overlooked and overshined because we have SeaWorld. Also, if you have little ones like me, another great place to visit is the Orlando Science Center. There's a ton of things that they can do in there. They can learn about science, technology. There's a bunch of hands-on displays. I mean, it's definitely a great way to spend the afternoon, especially during those hot summer months. As you can clearly see, there is a lot to do here in Orlando outside of the major theme parks. However, I just can't get too far. I can't ignore the fact that the theme parks here, particularly Disney World, is one of the major reasons why at least I love living here. And while it's pretty great to live by the theme parks and get to visit them, the truth is there are a lot of reasons you can love them that are not directly related with going to the actual theme parks. For example, the fact that we have Disney World, Universal, SeaWorld means that we have a bunch of restaurants, hotels, and shopping centers all around us. This provides countless opportunities for things like date nights, family outings, or even a staycation without having to travel far from home. Personally, my family and I mean, we've enjoyed the theme parks. We've enjoyed staying at hotels, the staycations. It's a real thing here, and I mean, you can really have a lot of fun. Might sound silly to spend money on just not going far from where you live, but why travel far when you have so much to take advantage of nearby? We've enjoyed staying at the Riviera, at the theme parks. I've had plenty of great meals at the Topolino's Terrace at the top of that hotel. I mean, me personally, pro local tip, while the dinner is great, you can watch the fireworks if you stay that late. But for me personally, I just love the breakfast, the brunch. The food is amazing. On top of that, the kids, they're gonna get a kick out of the fact that the characters, they come out, they can take pictures, they dance. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing to do. It doesn't have much to do with being inside the actual theme park. This is something that you can enjoy in a convenience that you have just because of the fact that they're here. Now, one more thing about Orlando theme parks being nearby is the fact that they create a lot of opportunities for employment and even business opportunities for Orlando residents. A lot of that has to do with the fact that, I mean, there's just such a great influx of tourists visiting these parks every year, all year long. They help bolster and support countless of small businesses and entrepreneurs in this area. Now, of course, the theme parks are not the only major employer here. Another major employer is really the public school system, believe it or not. That leads me to my fourth reason for loving Orlando, and it has everything to do with education. Now, I mean, I've heard it all. I know people complain about education and everybody has their own personal views. Believe me, I know I come from an education background. But at the same time, I know that there's something here when it comes to education for everyone to take advantage of. Now in Orlando, school systems are governed at the county level, so really you'll be looking at the Orange County Public School System, which is pretty amazing. I mean, the high schools here offer all kinds of magnet programs. On top of that, I mean, here there are so many students that take advantage of the dual enrollment opportunities, many graduating already starting college as sophomores. UCF being one of the largest universities in the United States, it offers a vast array of undergrad and graduate programs. Rollins College too is a private school that has a beautiful campus, and on top of that, they really do focus on personalized education. Now, a large part of that with Rollins College has to do with the fact that they're just a smaller school. However, that does mean that the cost is just a bit higher than the average. Now, if you want like maybe a more personalized touch when it comes to your higher level education, I think Valencia College would be the best place to go because it gives you really the best of both worlds. I mean, you're getting a world-class education, but at the same time, you're getting it in a much smaller classroom setting. Now, on top of that, Valencia, I mean, it just costs a lot less. Costs less than UCF. It also costs a lot less than Rollins College. And that's the beauty of Orlando's education system. There is a lot of choice. Now, I know that probably does not scratch the surface when it comes to questions about education. And everyone I talk to, I mean, of course, they're asking about this because they want the very best for their kids. And I'll tell you what, I take a lot of pride of being able to guide everyone that reaches out. So if you're looking to move to Orlando and you have questions on whether it has to do with the zonings of the school, or maybe even some financial guidance when it comes to moving to Orlando, please feel free to reach out. All my contact information is right below in the description area. At the end of the day, my goal is to make your move here to Orlando as smooth and easy as possible. Now on to my favorite reason for loving Orlando. It has everything to do with food. So I mean, if you don't love food, this might be the time to stop watching because that's exactly what we're gonna talk about. Orlando used to be mostly all just chain restaurants, which isn't too exciting. I mean, if you come here from somewhere else, you've probably seen a lot of those restaurants before. In fact, I mean, one of my first jobs here was me transferring from a restaurant that I had across the country all the way here. However, in the last few years, things have been changing and it has been amazing. So if you're a foodie or whether you just like trying new dishes, you'll definitely get your fill here. The dining options range all the way from upscale fine dining to cozy local eateries. I mean, there's something for every taste and every budget. There's a fantastic mix of international cuisine. A lot of that is thanks to our multicultural community. And of course, we have plenty of food festivals throughout the year, celebrating all the way from seafood to Latin cuisine. For example, this one goes without saying, but we have Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival. We also have a downtown food and wine festival. So if you love wine, I mean, this is the right spot for you to be at. Now, a quick local tip about Epcot. I mean, it's very important to plan your day when you go there, know what you're gonna eat, and guess what? There are plenty of blogs that go over and review all the food there. In my opinion, they have kind of gone down a little bit over the last few years. The food's just not as good. Here's an example, just kind of my opinion. I personally used to love the lobster roll over in America, but guess what? That's gone now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll bring it back in the next few years. But in general, I mean, it used to be a lot easier to go to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. I could walk up anywhere and guess what? I would almost always be pleasantly surprised at the food I'm eating. Now, I mean, I would just say it's good. It's not like it's terrible, but it's just not the same how it used to be. So definitely, if you get an opportunity and you're going to Epcot, I would check out the restaurants more than the festival. Outside of that, I would really look forward more towards all the other food festivals that we have here in town. Here are a couple areas that you can visit in Orlando and even live in if you're really interested in smaller restaurants with great food. One of them is Thornton Park, trendy neighborhood, beautiful tree lines on the street, and plenty of charming restaurants and cafes for you to check out. There's quite the range there, all the way from sushi to Mediterranean cuisine. Another area worth considering checking out is Church Street. That's in the heart of downtown. It's a historic district, and definitely you can see that there's a vibrant array of restaurants, bars, and entertainment venues. And there, the food ranges all the way from Italian, there's Mexican, and even American barbecue. And if you're not hungry yet, I have another one for you, and that's Winter Park. It is a charming suburb located just north of Orlando. This area is really known for its upscale dining. It features award-winning restaurants. On top of that, it has wine bars and all kinds of gourmet markets. Now, with all these great dining options, fantastic fantastic food festivals and vibrant districts to explore, it's easy to assume that Orlando might be a bit pricey. Well, I mean, if you're thinking about moving here, our next video might be worth taking a look at because we're gonna take an in-depth look at what some of the costs that our city has. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.